When you set out on your journey to build a coaching business, I am pretty sure that a big part of the pull that you felt was because you wanted to help people. I feel that way. I came from a corporate role, maybe you did too. I knew that I had an area of expertise that came natural to me, that over the years I had honed my skill, I'd made mistakes, I'd practiced, I'd learnt, I'd invested in development. I'd invested my time, my corporate company had invested their money into my development. And so 20 years later, and a lot of experience later, I am now in a position to help my clients to sell their services online, to do that with ease, not sleaze, to feel really good about doing it as well, because sales often makes us not feel good. And that all comes from years and years and years of building up my experience. Now, maybe you came from a corporate role too, or maybe you've got lived experience of something that other people struggle with. Whatever your background, coaching is all about our mission to help and support other people. Would you agree? I'm sure that you would. My mission is to help women create wealth through their wisdom and expertise. And I really do care about whether or not that happens. I really do care about that feeling that you have to show up and to sell with confidence, because we know that when you show up and sell with confidence that you are able to then help more people. So the work I do is to enable you to show up and sell with confidence so that you can help more people, because I know as a coach that is what you want. So I've dedicated this episode to getting better results for your clients, because so far I'm very privileged to have taught over 2,500 people. I love that number just makes me feel excited but nervous at the same time, because I know that my real mission is to turn that number into 100,000. But I'm very privileged that I've had some success so far. Not as much success as I would like, but I've had some success. I've helped my clients to make over $2 million. And that feels so good to say that out loud. But my mission is just beginning. I have got so many more people that I want to help. And I'm sure that you have too. But one of the things that I hear a lot from the women coaches that I support is that they worry about being able to create results for their clients. Even if I get them to a point where they can sell with absolute confidence, and even if they sell out their offers every time they launch, what they really feel nervous about is, what if the people that invest in their programs don't get results? They believe 100% in what they do, but then they carry around the burden of their clients implementing and getting a tangible ROI. So I wanted to dedicate this episode to how you can really get results for your clients, because that will then free you from this burden. That will then release you from the worry that you feel and allow you to sell with even more confidence. So I'd love to know, as always, I invite you to DM me over on Instagram. I'd love to know, is this a burden that you carry? Do you worry about when somebody joins your program, whether that's one-to-one, a group, or a course? Do you worry about whether or not they get results? You hear people like me online saying, detach from the outcome. It's not your role to implement. And that's true, but that doesn't stop you feeling the burden. So if you do feel that burden, I'd love to hear from you over on Instagram. I'm very happy to, give you some words of wisdom personally in the DMs, okay? So feel very comfortable to reach out to me. So we know, don't we, that you believe in yourself, or I hope you believe in yourself. You better bloody believe in yourself. If you're here listening to my podcast, I hope that you've had enough pep talks from me to be driving your self-belief through the roof. We know that you believe in what you do, but we don't want you to worry about the results, okay? Now, one of the things that I have done to help me feel comfortable and confident with getting client results, and I've rolled this out to clients too, is I've created a sprint methodology. Now, the reason that I did this is because I wanted to have that safe, secure, certain route from A to B. Yeah, that certainty around the transformation that my clients pay me to create with them. Notice I said with them and not for them, yeah? We're not doing things for our clients. We're doing it with them. We're navigating them through the ups and the downs, the twists and the turns, up and down the mountains, yeah? We're helping our clients by their side. We're not doing it for them. And so the real result comes from the implementation, which is what your client has to do. So I created the sprint method as a way to get fast results, to sprint the way through that A to B journey, and to do that with a very certain framework that I've tried and tested. Now, what I will say about my sprint method is the last time I ran my 3-week sprint, a lady called Rebecca, if you're listening, Rebecca, hello, gorgeous girl, she got 100 times ROI on the investment that she made to join my 3-week sprint. And Lauren booked 7 discovery calls. I had a lady in the cohort before that who booked 17 discovery calls. Yeah, and these are all people that were already there in their audiences. Rebecca made that point to me actually on a testimonial video that she created. She said, I cannot believe it, Rachel, that yes, you've taught me some stuff that I already knew, but I needed reminding of. You've taught me some stuff that was brand new, but the people that have since purchased were already there in my audience. It's just that I wasn't doing and saying the right things to activate them to buy. So I've created this sprint method. I'm going to share it here with you today in this episode. I've created this sprint method to allow you to deliver your coaching in a way that gets your customer moving from A to B in a way that's fast, certain, sure, tried, tested, and of course then allows them to give you that amazing testimonial at the end because they've got what they came for. They've got the result that they came for. Okay, so the first part of the sprint method is specificity. I always find that word quite tricky to say, but I actually just said it right, didn't I? Specificity. It's the specificity of the result that you create that's going to help you to attract the right person, to build the right methods to get them the result. Because if you're not clear on the result that they want and that you're able to deliver, everything falls down from that point on. So you need to have a very, very specific result. So my question for you is, how clear are you on exactly what your ideal client wants and needs right now? Are you delivering messaging that talks to their desires? Is the program that you're enrolling now, or the offers that you've got out there now, completely aligned to what your ideal client is desperate to achieve? Okay, so very specific result is the first thing that you absolutely must have when you're designing your coaching program. The second part of my sprint method is process. Do you have a tried and tested process that creates certainty? So again, think about the offer that you're enrolling now. How many times have you delivered a result using that process? Can you say it's proven? Can you say it's tried and tested? I will usually say to clients that we are our best client. You know, we are usually the first person to have tried a particular process of getting results. So are you selling a process that you've already followed yourself? In which case, you can give yourself a testimonial. You can talk about the results that you were able to create using the process, the A to B journey of transformation. What is the process that you used and what was the outcome that you got from doing it? So do you have a tried and tested process that creates certainty? The third part of the sprint method is resources. Once you have that specific result and you've got a tried and tested process, you're going to need to create some resources to support your client with the new learning. Whatever it is that you teach, whatever it is that you enable people to be able to achieve, are there new skills, new knowledge? Is there new experiences that they need to have? What resources can you create to help take them on that journey of new learning? The next stage of the sprint is implementation. This, you could argue, is the most critical point of your program, because you can teach till the cows come home, but if they don't implement, no result is going to get created. And you can't do that implementation for them. So what does the support and the accountability look like that you provide to your clients? How frequent is the support and accountability? What is the line of communication? How open is the communication? What do you tell your client to do if they've got questions? Do you set boundaries, but do you also keep a very open door so that they feel able to message you? Do you know what? I had a client message me on Sunday this week, and she left me a voice note with a question. And then on Monday, she messaged me and said, "Oh, Rachel, I am so sorry that I sent you that message on a Sunday. I really didn't mean to do that. I want to respect your boundaries." Now, I had replied to her message on the Sunday. I had sent her back a voice note on the Sunday. And so when she sent me the Monday voice note saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I've reflected on what I did, and I'm really sorry. I hope it's okay." I messaged back and said to her, "I want you to message me in the moment. Because if I had had my boundaries so firm that you weren't allowed to message me, you would have given me a different message come Monday morning. It would be diluted. It would feel weaker. For you to leave that message and for me to hear it, I would get a diluted version of it, which means that my response to you would also then be diluted. So my boundaries are, I want my clients to message me in the moment, but I do have boundaries around when I reply. Now, if I've got time and energy on the Sunday, I will absolutely reply, but I train my clients to not expect it. And I just love the fact that she messaged me that and wanted to just check in on those boundaries. So think about the implementation. What is it that you do to support your clients and keep them accountable the whole way through the implementation process? The next step on the sprint is next steps. What's the purpose and longer term tangible outcome? So can you create some context around the result that you're helping them to create? So for example, if you've got your client in an 8-week program, when they get to the end of the 8 weeks and they've achieved the result that they wanted, what happens next? Is there a program that you offer that takes them to a higher level result? Is there a long-term maintenance program, an accountability program that stops that result that they've been able to achieve from sort of falling away and getting weaker over time? What do next steps look like at the end of your program? Because for you to grow your coaching business really successfully and be able to scale it, you need to think about client retention and loyalty. You don't want to go to the hard work of enrolling somebody in a program and then have them leave at the end of it because you don't have the next level service to offer them. So really think about, what do next steps look like? Do you need another program in your value ladder, in your business model, to really help them to go to that next step when they're ready to go to it? So think about next steps. And then the final part of my sprint methodology is tracking. I know this sounds boring because now the minute I say tracking, you think spreadsheets and numbers and KPIs. Well, yes, it may be all of those things, but it doesn't have to be. Now, the reason I say tracking will always feature in all of my programs. And that's because how do we know when to celebrate if we don't measure success? How do we know when that point to crack open the champagne is if we haven't set a goal with a KPI that's measurable? Yeah, so there is always an element of tracking, and I invite you to include an element of tracking in all of the programs that you deliver, because it feels good to celebrate. It feels terrible to think you're worthy of celebration and not actually be sure whether or not you've created the result or not, or to have that goal so woolly that you don't really ever know if you've achieved it or not. Because you then always end up in that, oh, I could have done better, I could have done more, and oh, it didn't work out. And no, set the goal to be realistic and achievable in the first place, and then you know when to celebrate. There's nothing wrong with having a good, better, best. There's nothing wrong with having a stretch goal. Yeah, you don't just have to have one goal, but at least do yourself the service of knowing when is the time to celebrate. When's the time to crack the cork, blow open the bubbles, and cheers yourself, for what you've been able to create. Let me just give you a little run through. Specificity is the first part of my sprint method. Specificity of the result that you create. The P of sprint is process. The R is resources that you need to create to help your client go on that journey of transformation. The I is implementation, arguably the most important part. The N is for next steps, so that you are always thinking about what does it look like when the result has been achieved. And then the final part, the T, is for tracking success, so that you know when to crack open the champagne. So I hope that sprint method, I hope it firstly makes sense to you. You can see how using that to underpin the building of your coaching programs will help your clients to get better results. And if your clients get better results, they will love you even more. They will give you bigger and better and more powerful testimonials. And of course, the next step of that is that more clients will then want to work with you because of the power in those testimonials. So there is my sprint method for you. If you'd like to know more about it, drop me a DM, get in touch. If you want to come and join me on my next sprint, I am running my next sprint as my Book More Discovery Calls 3-week sprint. It'll be the third cohort that I've run. The first two have been extremely successful. As I said earlier, Rebecca got 100 times return on investment. She made £20,000 from joining my 3-week sprint, where she had the goal to book more discovery calls, but in her words, achieved so much more than that. She overhauled her entire coaching business using my methods, my frameworks, my messaging, and the result was she made £20,000 in 3 weeks. So I'm running my next sprint. We start on the 12th of September. All you need to do to get involved is just drop me a DM over on Insta with the word sprint. I'll send you all of the details so that you can decide whether or not it's the right thing for you. But if you are thinking that business would feel so much easier if you had a packed out diary of beautiful clients wanting to speak to you, wanting to book discovery calls, then this next 3-week sprint is exactly for you. I'll warn you, we move quite quickly, but it's very structured, it's very easy to follow, and you have me to support you in Voxer every single day. So you can't fail. You cannot fail to book out your calendar. So if you want to know more about the sprint, drop me the word sprint over in my Instagram DMs, and I will message you back with all of the details. That's it for this episode. If you know anybody that would benefit from helping their clients to get bigger, better results, if you know anybody that would enjoy my sprint method, then share this listening link with them, share it on your stories. I would love to get this message out to more people. So thank you in advance for all of your support. And as always, thank you for being here as a loyal listener. I'll see you next time.